So the name of the band is Goldminds.
Yeah.
Right? Now, what's the name from? Who came up with that?
I think, like, to be honest, like, there was just so many names being thrown around in group chat, and it just gets to a point where I think like we liked the play on words. Like, we were kind of just playing around with a bunch of different names, and then Goldminds, like gold mining, and then turned into Goldmind. And then it was just like, oh my God, maybe we should just do that. And then it just happened. Like, cool, I don't really, it didn't really have any like deeper meaning per se. It's just always hard with a band name.
So you're Courtney, you're the singer. Who else is in the band?
So we've got Brendan West and Jordan Barczak and Nick Simmons. So it's just me and three of my mates. Yeah.
And what brought you together? The love of rock and roll?
Yeah, I guess so. The love of the rock. We've all been mates for quite some time, and I think it just all like naturally came together. Like,
yeah, very cool. Well, it sounds like it's come together on the record. Signals is the name of the record, right?
Thank you. Yes, I've actually got the our vinyl here.
Oh, don't taunt me. Ooh, that looks good. I may have to send away for one.
The front cover.
Nice, nice. Because you see, I have a few records back here.
You do. I did notice that. I couldn't tell though if they were books or records, but then I did think records.
I'm afraid so. Now that's cool, getting vinyl on your first record and stuff. So have you listened to it?
Yeah, it's great. It's super exciting. Like, I've got a record player here at home, and actually belongs to my housemate, and we've had a few sessions listening to it. It's great.
Very cool. It must be frustrating not to play out in front of people at this point.
It's I think there's a lot of pent up energy with all the musicians in Melbourne. Like,
I can imagine.
I mean, it's a big part of being in a band. You know, the performative side is definitely something that I love doing, and I can't wait to eventually get back on stage.
Yeah. So you recorded the album in Melbourne?
We did. We recorded it in a place called Hot House Studios in St Kilda.
Right.
And our friend Michael Badger produced the album, and we had an engineer on board, Jez Giddings, who is an absolute legend. I met Jez for the first time when we went into the studio.
Right.
And so we had 3 days in there with him, and it was just an absolute ball of laugh. Like, it was just a
So
great,
was this the first time you'd really spent some time in the studio?
I've spent time in the studio beforehand. Like, I've done a few different projects in the past, but that was the first time I'd been to Hot House Audio, which was a really cool experience. Yeah.
And Michael, the producer, he's worked with like Amel and the Sniffers and King Gizzard and those folks. So what did he do for you guys?
Well, he produced the album with us. So, he got us like into gear and sort of like, I guess was the cherry on the top of all of our ideas combined. And he just helped push us to the next level. And, because we only had 3 days to record the album, he just sort of like kept us on track and just got the best out of us. I think
for
something that is also, a really gritty, raw sort of album. Like, there's, it was great working with Michael. Yeah.
So who have you listened to that has inspired and influenced what this record sounds like?
There's so many artists, like, combined. I think we've got like a few different, variants coming through. I think we can all agree on we love the Stooges, we love the MC5, all the classics. I really love PJ Harvey, and even more like contemporary artists like Adelita. I love Adelita. I love who else? There's just so many. Like, I think it's just the Kills. There's There's a lot of different artists that I think we all collectively love.
Cool.
The Stones, the Beatles.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, you know.
And how does the writing work within the band? Are you doing most of it, or is it a collaborative effort, or what's happens?
It sort of started off like, I think Brendan and I, we do a lot of songwriting together, and we'll pitch ideas to each other. So individually, we have our own ideas, and like I definitely write a lot, and I play guitar at home, and I might nut out an idea or a melody, and have something written down, some lyrics, and then I'll get together with Brendan, and we'll write together. Normally, it'll always start on an acoustic guitar.
Really?
And that's how sort of the basis of this album formed. It was just like Brendan and I on an acoustic. And yeah, then I think as the band sort of formed, Jordan and Nick, Brendan and I all get into like a studio. We go to Bakehouse Studios normally to rehearse. And now that we've got the band, like we can just sort of throw ideas together in rehearsal and just have a jam and see what happens.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought I'd touch on a couple of songs. The first one being Ode to Woman, because I was listening to the lyrics, I am a woman, blah, blah, blah. And of course, I Am Woman was by Helen Reddy, another Australian musician. So I thought, well, there's a connection there.
That's true. I recently saw her. There's a movie on Stan at the moment about her story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's quite cool. Yeah.
She kind of deserves her own movie, I guess. What the heck?
Yeah, for sure. It was it's an epic song that she wrote.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few other Angie Baby and songs like that are kind of weird and kind of off kilter. I remember listening to them back in the day on the AM radio. So yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
She's quite the character. And another one, Anxiety. Tell me about that one.
Anxiety. It's a bit like tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
I think it's just something that everyone can relate to. Everyone's had like at some point an anxious feeling inside them. And the song is like driven by anxiety as well. Like it makes me anxious singing it.
That's not good.
It's, yeah, I think it just throws around a lot of different ideas. Like lyrically, there's just, all different contexts of how like, you experience anxiety in your day-to-day form.
Right.
But it's a fun anthem to sing. To sing at gigs because it's an easy one for people to sing along to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now, Till the End, to me, had a little bit of a T-Rex vibe going on with it. I don't know if that's somebody that you even are aware of. Whatever. That's
a compliment. I love Mark Bolan. So, I never really thought of, never really thought that it sounded like T-Rex at all. But that's cool. Yeah, that one, that was one of the last ones that went on the album, actually, like that we decided to put on the album. It was one of the last ones that were kind of, that we sort of nutted out and just sort of went for it. That one came together really quickly. Once we all jammed to it, it just sort of like,
Right. And then the album closes out with a tune called Warm Feeling, which really rocks out. It's got that rumbling bass in the intro, and then there's like a killer guitar solo in the middle of it and all that. So was that always going to be the closer?
I don't know. I think we did play around with a few different like lineups for like the tracks, but
right.
I think that we were happy with Warm Feeling being an ending song because that's always a fun song to play at the end of a gig as well.
Right. I can imagine it would be.
And I can't take the credit for that song because it's an Iggy Pop demo.
Is it really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good old Iggy.
Yeah.
Still kicking.
It's a great song. Like, yeah. And it really, it's an energetic one to sing like on stage. It's a lot of fun to play. Yeah.
I bet it is. Yeah. Yeah. I just interviewed James Williamson, who played with the Stooges on Raw Power, and he's doing an album with Dennis Tech from Radio Birdman.
Oh, I love Radio Birdman too. That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, they're still out there doing the thing, rocking and rolling.
Yeah, I know. Where do they get the energy? Infinite power. It's great. Give me some of that.
Yeah. Well, hang in there. You look like you got plenty of time.
Yeah. Thanks.
So when you go out to shows, what kind of people were out checking you guys out?
It's a mixed bag, as always. Like in Melbourne, there's just so many like venues, like everyone's really supportive. So like, we've got lots of friends that are like already in bands that, will always show up.
Right.
And sometimes you just get like, the general punter, like someone that might not even be expecting to see a show. And then next minute they're still at the bar and, there you go. We've only played a handful of gigs in this band, and they've all been like quite small, intimate venues.
Right.
Like places like the Old Bar or the Tote, or our last gig that we played before Melbourne like got locked down was at a place called Cherry Bar in the city, and that was a 2 a.m. show.
Oh, great.
And that was literally like the week before everything just like got shut down.
Right.
So, it was an amazing gig in that sense that like the energy was high, and I think it was a strange night as well. Like everyone was sort of on edge with the unknowns of what was going to be, what was going to happen in the coming weeks, let alone like the coming months.
Yep.
So
are things getting better over there?
Out to have a good time.
Are things getting better? Because for a while there, we were kind of hoping that soon we would start getting some back and forth between here and Australia. And now that seems to have kind of gone by the wayside a little bit. So how's it feel over there?
Yeah, I think, I definitely think there's like a little bit more to wait on that side of things. Yeah, unfortunately. You just want to kind of get on with it. But then, I think just
have you been to New Zealand?
Going on?
Have you been to Auckland?
I haven't, and I would absolutely love to. It's on my bucket list for sure.
Oh, good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would love to come and play some shows with the band.
That would be cool, man. We could use it right now. From hearing the record, it's like I was just running around the apartment, doing my thing. That's what happens.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your support. Yeah.
So, and Melbourne's a pretty good music town, though, right? Are you part of a scene there?
Yeah, I think like there's lots of different scenes in Melbourne, like in musically speaking. Everyone, as different as everyone is, like we're all very supportive of one another as well. So like, I think we're really lucky to have such an array of talent in Melbourne. It's a definite hub, and I think that like I like to float around to all different scenes. I like a lot of different music, so I don't like being put into like too much of a corner in like one genre or
Cool.
Yeah, I'm really open-minded in that sense. Yeah.
Excellent. So I assume it's been a while since the band has played, and like you said, you've only done a few gigs anyway. So are you kind of itching to get out there, or what are you thinking about at the moment? The record's out next Friday.
Let's go.
Exactly. Hey ho.
Yeah. I think, I can't wait to get back on stage. It'll be great, but it'll also be really weird. I think there's going to be like a little bit of an integration period for like Melbourneites. There's going to be some people with like real high energy that are just wanting to get out there, and others that are going to be way more introverted and mellow and wanting to like just slowly like step back into the scene. It can be, I think, really like overwhelming, that idea of like, going from just being in your own home and then like suddenly just being thrown back out into the world, like amongst so many people. So I think there'll be like an integration period, and it'll be really exciting once we do get back on stage. And I think it'll start really slowly. It'll start with like, small venues doing like sit down gigs, like they were at the sort of start of the year, with like, maybe a 50 capacity spaced out dining and,
Well, I can imagine people are going to be kind of some people, like you say, are going to just be raring to go. but other ones are going to be kind of uptight. They're worried about being in close proximity to people. They'll be wearing masks and stuff, and they, you know, so there's going to be a weird vibe, I would guess.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see like that unfold. I mean, New Zealand, like, have you guys been like, have venues opened up for people to play?
Well, yes and no. We went for like 100 days without any coronavirus, and so everything got opened up, and and everything did open up, and it was great. We're going to gigs and stuff, and then we closed down again because they found a couple of cases. So everybody got up, and it's been like that for maybe a month or so now, and now it's opening up again. So the whole country, other than Auckland, is in level 1, and we're at level 2 at the moment in Auckland.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So everybody's worried about the venues, you know.
Flows. Yeah.
Weird.
Well, it will be a great time once things do start to like flourish again. Yeah.
Yep. I think you don't know how much you miss live music until you miss live music, and then you need to have that communal thing going on.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking time to talk to me on your Thursday morning. Still morning.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And I'm going to have to go down to the record store and see if I can find your vinyl version of the record now.
Yeah, we'll have to try and get our hands on one and send it to you.
Very good. Well, good luck with the band. Hopefully we'll see you guys here sometime in the next God knows how long.
Yeah, thank you, Marty. Well, we hope that we can make it to New Zealand one day as well. Yeah, I'm sure we will.
All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.